One of the most interesting things about wrestling is that it's pretty much one big never-ending story. Sure, individual stories have a start and end, but the overall landscape of Vinnie Mac's Land of the Graps just continues. As such, many wrestlers become linked or compared with one another, whether that being due to being part of a tag team, having a memorable rivalry, or just sharing similar characteristics. The Spot the Difference series looks at two of these wrestlers and compares them. For the debut episode, and with the Hulkster's recent reintroduction to the WWE Hall of Fame, what better wrestlers to compare than two of the most decorated wrestlers to ever step foot through the doors of Stamford, Connecticut, John Cena and Hulk Hogan. I'm Connel from WrestleVision, and this is me comparing John Cena and Hulk Hogan from the eyes of the fans. Category number 1. Promos. As the face of a multi-million-dollar company, it is important that the wrestler will be able to talk people into the arena. If you can't talk people into an arena, your ceiling can only be so high. With only a few exceptions, there have been no better men at this than Big Match John and the Hulkster. Starting with John, he started out showcasing his unique charisma as a freestyle rapper, improvising rhyming dialogue on the spot to diss his opposition. However, timing wasn't really on Cena's side here. Whilst he definitely had a few years to show his markability at the top of the card, his peak at the top came during the prime years of WWE's PG era, where his main ways to insult an opponent were to call them dummies and to insinuate a gay relationship between The Miz and Alex Riley. Be a star. Since the PG era was less round in our face, and after the rise of a certain large canine, fans once again started appreciating Cena's capability, some standouts being his promos on said Big Dog last September, his promos on The Undertaker earlier this year, and the Championship Ascension ceremony with Randy Orton in 2013. However, despite all of this, Hogan has been talking people into the arenas since the 80s, whether as a babyface Hulkamaniac or as a dastardly Hollywood heel. The Hulkster always made sure that you would either see him kick ass, like any promo he cut with Mean Gene Okerlund, or get his ass kicked, like you saw in his promo with WCW, where he revealed himself as the third man of the NWO. The unique voice of the Hulkster will be immortalised for generations, something that will elude John. Score: Cena 0, Hogan 1. Category number 2. In-ring ability. Whether fairly or unfairly, both of these big muscled gents have been criticised as not exactly being Bret Hart or Kurt Angle when it comes to in-ring competition. However, in Hogan's defence, he was popular during a time when in-ring ability was at its absolute lowest in terms of importance. Say what you want to about Hulk, but he's a smart mind for the business. He knew all he needed to do in the States to be popular during the 1980s was to be muscular, blonde and charismatic. Check, check and check. This is what gave the perception of Hogan as a bad wrestler, as he'd just Hulk up, hit a big boot, hit a leg drop and get the 1-2-3. However, when back in Japan, a country more renowned for its hard-hitting, strong-style in-ring ability, Hogan actually changed up his game and showed signs of being a competent in-ring worker. However, I would argue no one has adapted to the times quite like John Cena. His rise fell during the tail end of the Ruthless Aggression era. While guys like Angle and Michaels were still locking up, in-ring ability wasn't the focal point for a main event talent. However, as the reality era was birthed and more independent wrestlers were signed, the mindset of the audience had changed and in-ring ability was more in demand than ever before. Cena, after years of being told he couldn't wrestle, added many more moves to his arsenal and upped his game to avoid being lost in the shuffle. Whilst Hogan seemingly regressed over time in the States, Cena really upped his in-ring work as time went on. Score: Cena 1, Hogan 1. Category number 3. Match history. And to follow on from that, it's fitting that here I talk about the individual matches of each man's respected career. Cena spent most of his early career on SmackDown, wrestling the likes of Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, guys that can probably carry me to a great match. Cena's best matches, however, came after his move to Raw and his main event rise. His earliest classic I can remember being his 1-hour Raw main event with Shawn Michaels in London. Since then, Cena has accumulated a whole bunch of not quite Dave Meltzer 5-star rated matches, and even one that was with a certain Mr. CM Punk. His list of classic matches include, but are not limited to, any match with AJ Styles or CM Punk, his pay-per-view trilogy with Kevin Owens in 2015, almost all of his matches during the US Open Challenge, but namely the matches with Cesaro, his match with Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013, any match with Edge during the 2006-7 period, triple threat with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble in 2015, and, if only for the spectacle, John Cena vs The Rock at WrestleMania 28. Speaking of WrestleMania spectacles with the star of Baywatch, Hogan vs The Rock was the most highly anticipated match possible in 2002. Generations collided in the original once-in-a-lifetime bout, but you don't have to look as far as 2002 for a classic match involving Hogan. His WrestleMania 3 main event against Andre the Giant may not hold up today, but for the time it was the spectacle. His main events at WrestleMania's 5 with Randy Savage and 6 with the Ultimate Warrior also ranked amongst early best, the latter being essential viewing for any Hulkamaniac. Whilst his rematch with Warrior in WCW may have fell flat, his matches with Ric Flair down south are certainly worth your viewing time. However, I think it's fair to say Hogan's collection doesn't quite match that of his successor. They don't call him Big Match John for nothing. Score: Cena 2, Hogan 1. Category number 4. Accolades. Whilst on the surface it may seem pointless to compare accolades in a made-up sport, as if we looked solely at world title reigns, David Arquette would be considered better than Cesaro. Obviously world title reigns within WWE count for something, but we'll also be looking at other achievements the pair received. Starting with Hulk Hogan, the Immortal One is of course a 6-time WWF/WWE World Champion, a number that also ties with his number of World Championships in WCW. Besides these, Hogan has won 2 Royal Rumbles, a WWE Tag Team Championship, and is a 3-time PWI Wrestler of the Year. He also was a part of 4 PWI Match of the Years and is a 3-time winner of the Most Popular Wrestler Award, but most importantly, he was a nominee in 2006 Kids' Choice Awards for the Best Reality Star. Hogan's original World Championship reigns were during a time before WWE had a habit of flip-flopping world titles, with one reign lasting around 4 years and another for a full year. Comparing that to Cena, who has held the WWE Championship a record 13 times and WWE's World Heavyweight Championship 3 times, this makes him the second most decorated world champion in wrestling history. Not joint first, Ric Flair has more than 16 world title reigns. Other than these 16 world titles, Cena has accumulated 5 United States Championships, 2 World and 2 WWE Tag Team Championships, 2 Royal Rumble victories, and a Money in the Bank victory. Cena has also been named PWI Wrestler of the Year twice, been a part of 5 Match of the Years, and was voted Most Popular Wrestler of the Year 4 times, even being named Most Popular Wrestler of the Decade for the 2000s. 2 very impressive resumes, but if I were a CEO of a company and could only offer one of these men the job, I'd lean towards Mr. Cena. Score: Cena 3, Hogan 1. Category number 5. Overall presence. An important part of being a top WWE superstar is making sure that you carry yourself like one. That ability to seem larger than life to the audience. Arguably, nobody in wrestling history has seemed more larger than life than Hulk Hogan, with the only exception being former WrestleMania foe Andre the Giant. You ask anybody who knows nothing about wrestling, they know Hulk Hogan. The blonde hair and Fu Manchu combo has become iconic and synonymous with the Hulkster. His success in the world of wrestling, however, wasn't able to transfer as well into pop culture. Hogan was the first wrestler to attempt to transition into Hollywood, with fairly rough results. Apart from his appearance in some film about a boxer, Hogan's biggest impact in the world of Hollywood was saying the word dookie, hardly the mark superstars like The Rock and Batista have since made, in my opinion. The transition into mainstream was also something that WWE and John Cena himself was so desperately trying to make work for the first part of his career. Like Hogan, Cena also appeared in a reality show, though not named after himself. Cena has always been a great PR guy, and with most Make-A-Wishes in company history, is obviously great with the kids. Like Hogan, Cena has also attempted a Hollywood breakthrough. When falling flat on his face with WWE Studios' The Marine and 12 Rounds, Cena became in demand after finally bursting into the mainstream in the weirdest way. Memes. After the John Cena memes took the internet by storm, Cena's stock was high, and he has since had a few successful performances in Hollywood, with movies like Trainwreck and Ferdinand, the latter actually getting The Man Who Can't Be Seen an Oscar nomination. However, Cena's mainstream breakthrough is still in its infancy, and it may happen that he becomes a mainstream megastar in the future, but as of right now, the big overall star is the Hulkster. Score: Cena 3, Hogan 2. So that's a wrap. In a tight affair, Big Match John was once again victorious in his biggest match to date. But do you agree, or was the Hulkster unfairly defeated? Let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know who you'd like us to compare next. Keep an eye out for more Spot the Difference in the future. I've been Connel from WrestleVision, and that was John Cena vs Hulk Hogan from the eyes of the fans.